Hi everyone, just a quick video about Project 3. Most of this is about formatting. You'll probably start getting the hang of a lot of this stuff as you go along, but there's a few things that's probably helpful to have some information about. So my first project step, I'm just renaming this tab down here. That's really easy to do. If I double click that, I can type right into it. And then I'll click somewhere else. And it will change my name. Make sure that you proofread all of the stuff that you're asked to type in. If you type in something, if you typed in inventory and it wasn't capitalized, or if it was misspelled, Sam will mark you off for that. So pay lots of attention to details. The next step asks us to unfreeze the top two rows. So what are frozen rows? If I look at this sheet, if I start scrolling down, notice that the first two rows remain fixed. They don't move with the rest of the worksheet. That can be really helpful in some layouts so that you don't lose headings. However, if we want to unfreeze it, super easy to do, but not necessarily obvious how to do it. So what we can do is go over to View, and notice that there are some icons here that give us some options that deal with freezing. If I click Unfreeze Panes and I scroll, now those top two rows are no longer frozen. So that's really easy. Now, if I now want to middle align the contents of the merged cell, A1. So I go to Hardy Fit Tools, okay. Notice it's centered, but the centering of the text is the horizontal alignment of the text. Is it closer to the left side or the right side, or is it in the middle? Well, it's in the middle, but that's not middle aligned. Middle aligned talks about the vertical alignment of the text, okay. How is it in reference to the top, middle, and bottom of the cell? If I go back to my home ribbon, I have a whole section here with formatting options, and what I want to do is click the middle align one. So again, we're looking for something that says middle align. So when I hover over that formatting icon, it gets middle align, and I click it and it changes the alignment of the text, vertically speaking. So in step 3, I'm going to cut some contents out of this cell over here. So I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to come down here to A2, and I'm going to paste it. That's easy. But then I want to use the now formula in B2, and that's going to pull up the current date no matter what day you open it. So when I'm typing in a formula, I'm going equals, and then I'm asked to use the now formula, so I can just type in the word now. You can go ahead and capitalize everything and make it nice, but it will actually do that for you. Do my open parentheses, and notice that I do get my prompt that says what I should include in this formula. This formula is weird because it's actually just a blank set of parentheses. There's nothing in the parentheses. So then I type my close parentheses, I hit enter, and it inserts today's date into that blank. Merge and center the range A3 to A9. Okay, so A3 to A9 is right here. The first thing I want to do is highlight that range so I know what I'm working with. So there are a number of ways that we can do formatting for cells, but all of what we're going to do right now is all in the same little area where we were just using for middle align in the previous step. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge and center. So if I go and I hover over all these icons, sooner or later I'm going to find this one that says merge and center. So I'm going to click on that. Now you can also click on the little drop down and it gives you some different things. You can just click there, or you can just click the main button. It's one of the more commonly used functions, so that's why it's available as an icon. So I merged and centered, then I want to rotate the text up to 90 degrees. So I'm going to go to this little one that says AB, and it gives me a bunch of options for rotating my text up, or rotating my text. So I'm going to click Rotate Text Up, and it changes the orientation of the text. It's no longer horizontal, it's now vertical. So then I want to change the width of the column A to 5.00. What I'm going to do this is I'm going to go up here. Notice I get my plus sign that my mouse is making is there. If I hover over the line between A and B, I can move the line, and it's going to tell me how wide it is. So if I go slowly enough, I can see how the width changes, and I get to 5 and I stop. So now that column is as wide as I want it to be. B5 to K5, we're going to copy the formatting and then put that into B7 to K7. This is easy to do again, but I think sometimes the way that it's stated is a little confusing. We're just plain going to copy B5 to K5. So I'm going to highlight that. So here's B5, and I'm going to go over to K5. That's the row I want to, nope, sorry, that's 7. Oops, this is 5. That's what I want to highlight all the way to K. So that's my row that I want to copy. So I can do one of two things. I can come up here and I can click the copy icon, or I can right click slash 2-finger click the row, and I can click copy that way. Whatever works for you. Now I'm going to go down to this row, the row that I'm copying to, and this is where we have to specify what elements from row 5 we want to copy into row 7. So when I see my paste icon appear, I can click on the little drop down, and it's going to give me a number of options. I can choose to just simply paste everything, or I can choose to paste formulas, or I can choose to paste other things. I'm going to come down here to where it says formatting, and I'm going to click that because that's what I was asked to paste into the new row. So now when I click elsewhere, notice that that new row, or row 7 rather, is the same pretty green as row 5 was. So that's the formatting we were copying. Okay, B8, we're going to decrease the indent by 1 level. That's pretty simple. So we're going to go to B8, maybe. Yes, we are. B8, and we want to decrease the indent. So that's really easy. We can go over here, and once again, we can use the icons. So I'm going to decrease the indent, sorry, not the intent, and notice it moves it back over so it aligns with everything else in that row. We're going to copy the values from C26 to G26. We're going to paste only the values into C8 to G8. So this is a case where we don't want to copy any formatting. We only want to copy the values. So I'm going down here. This is C26. No, so it's not C26 to G26. Again, I'm going to copy. This time I'll use the icon button. So I click copy. I see the little moving line, dotted line pop up, so I know I've been successful in doing that. And we are going to insert that into C8 to G8, which right now is empty. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that range. Again, I'm going to go to the paste icon. I'm going to click the drop down, and all I want this time are the values. So I'm going to do paste values. That doesn't change my formatting. Notice this weird green block, this dark green block isn't transposed up here. It's just the numbers. Then it says to get rid of our duplicates, we're going to delete the row. You can delete a row by clicking on the number of the row. That highlights the whole thing. I just double tapped or right clicked for you Windows users. I can click delete and it goes away. Goal seek. So in 7, we want to set cell C11 to the value of 300 by changing C7. This is something that allows us to do some analysis in Excel. So if I want to see what I have to do in, let's see, what was C7? C7 is tool sets. If I want to see what I have to sell in tool sets to make the average order come up to 300, then I'm going to use this goal seek thing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to data. This is under the data tab. And we have a tool in the data tab called what if analysis. I'm going to click on the little drop down, and one of my options is goal seek. So I want to set C11, because this is what it says set C11 to the value of 300. It's literally you're filling in the blanks with what comes out of the instructions by changing the cell C7. I click OK, and what that does is it allows me to change C7, which is right there, to make this equal to 300. So what it did is it changed the value. It said, oh, if we make this 330, then the average order will be 300. That's what happened. Okay, H4, we're going to be doing spark lines. A lot of this, a lot of this is going to be based on colors and editing your spark lines. So I might not go through the entirety of this step because once you kind of figure out how to change colors and stuff, it's not that hard. When I want to do a spark line, what I want to go to is the Insert tab. And notice that there's spark lines there. So I am going to go to the cell that they're asking me to insert in. So I'm going to go to H4. And I'm going to insert a spark line. And I want a line. So I need to tell it, okay, where am I getting the data from? So I'm going to actually put the range in here. So I'm just going to look and make sure that I'm getting it right. So it says fill the range or based on the data in ranges C4 to G4. So I'm going to go C4, G4, and click OK. And all of a sudden I get a spark line. So that's pretty cool. All it's doing is it's giving me sort of like a little bit of a baby graph or a trend line to show me what's happening with sales across these months that are represented in the table. So I want to fill the range H5 to H9 without formatting based on the content of H4. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to change this alternating darker and lighter colors. So I'm going to fill, but then I'm going to click this drop down that pops up and I'm going to say fill without formatting. And that's going to preserve my color formatting, but it's going to mean that I now have a spark line in every one of these. But then we want to format the spark lines themselves. So I'm going to go here and notice that we actually have like sort of little extra toolbar that pops up. You have sparkline colors. So it's asking you to change the sparkline colors, and then it's asking you to include markers. And so you need to go through those instructions and figure out what you need to do. It's going to give you fairly precise instructions on where to find the different colors, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that just because it's a really long step and it's not too hard to do. It's about colors and pretty things. So we're going to go to cell K4. This cell already has a formula in it. Notice that there is a formula that has been pre-filled in here. It's to take cell I4 and multiply it by cell J4. And what we want to do is copy that formula and then paste the formula and number formatting into the range K5 through K8. So we are going to copy. And then we're going to highlight those cells that we're asked to put that formula in. We're going to go to paste. And we want to do the formulas and number formatting option. So it's very important that you read all of those things, pay lots of attention to detail, make sure all of your ranges are correct, and make sure that you are really getting the exact instructions, that you're doing exactly what you're asked to do. You're not doing it some other way because Sam will not recognize that as being a correct step. So let's see, we've got a couple of steps left here. We've got 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we really want to create a formula in step 10. So we're going to cell C12. And we're creating a formula that divides the total orders for August, cell C9, by the total number of orders, I9. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using an absolute reference for the first time. So we're going to do we're going to create a formula here. So I'm going to go to my formula bar, I'm going to click equals, and then I'm going to open some parentheses, and I want to do C9 divided by. Now, if I do C9 and then I continue, I fill all these cells with the formula that I'm going to come up with. What Excel will automatically do is change C9 to D9, E9, F9, etc. That's great, except we always want it to divide by I9, which is the total orders. So what we are going to do is we're going to create something called an absolute reference. We say, okay, Excel, you can change the top cell to match whatever column we're now in, but we need to always go back and divide by the same cell, which is I9. So the way we do that is we type a $sign in. We can do I9 or $I,